Hey guys, Carlton here from Eternal Fitness, and today I've got a squat video for you. Now I have to say that I'm not a competitor, nor do I squat an excessive amount of weight. But as a personal trainer, my goal is to teach my clients the correct way to squat and to achieve an optimal amount of depth while squatting. So firstly, why would someone want a deep squat? Well, this is primarily because we work through the whole range of motion, which allows us to recruit and work a lot more muscle. The intensity at which a muscle works, in this case the quads and the glutes, vary greatly to the angle of the particular joint at which it is worked, in this case the hip and the knee joint. To make it plain, guys, working through the whole range of motion will ultimately build more muscle and strength. This does come with a cost though, as one would have to use lighter weights to perform these. So if leaving your ego at the door isn't your thing, then deep squatting probably isn't for you. It took me a while to learn this, but guys, I would invite you to try to deep squat with proper form, and these mobility drills should help you. I have kept the use of equipment minimal, so no bands or rollers, etc. Enjoy the video. Okay guys, so we're starting off with a dynamic stretch, and this stretch will help to open up the thoracic spine and also a little bit of the hip flexors. So what you see me doing here is lunging forward. I have one hand down into the ground and the other one up into the air, trying to reach as high and as back to the opposite side as possible. This is just going to help to open up the chest, a little bit of the anterior delts, and at the same time the knee on the ground. I'm trying to drop the hips towards the ground, trying to push the hips forward a little. You can't see it as much in the video, but that's the goal, to open up the chest and the hip flexors. We're now moving on to the glutes. This is usually quite a problematic area in a lot of people, especially because a lot of my clients in particular, they tend to be office workers who spend a lot of time at their desk, they are sitting down, and so the glutes really become quite weak and really tight as well. So what I'm using here is a plyo box, but really guys, you can use anything. You could use a bench, you could use a step, a sofa, anything that you can elevate one leg up onto. If you see my leg, it's quite flat. I've got the knee onto the box as well. The other leg is driven as far back away, and the other knee is dropped down onto the ground. You can see me doing it here from another angle. So one leg goes up. We're going to flatten the leg so the knee has contact with the box as well. I'm slowly going to drive the other leg away and try and drop the knee. At first guys, this is going to be quite painful, so don't push it all the way to the ground. Just go as far as you can and your body allows you to, and then just try and hold it there. Try and hold at least for a minute, a couple of minutes if you can. If you're able to go all the way, then slowly try and lower the middle of your chest, your sternum down towards the leg which is on the box. And you can also play around, so you can move the middle of the chest towards your ankle, or you can slowly rotate and move it towards your knee as well. And this will help stretch the glutes. We're now moving on to the hip flexors. So the hip flexors, guys, are made up of about 10 different muscles: the rectus femoris, psoas, and the TFL, to name a few. So towards the beginning of the video, guys, we kind of targeted the hip flexors in a basic way, but this one here is going to hit them hard. So what we're doing here is we have the plyo box set up again. Once again, you can use anything else. You can even use a wall. I'm in a lunge position, 1 foot flat on the ground. I'm starting off with my hands on the ground, and I'm slowly elevating myself into an upright position and driving the hip forward. As you get better at this stretch, you'll slowly be able to bring the knee, which is on the ground, closer and closer towards the wall or the box or whatever it is you're using. At the beginning, this one is going to be quite tough, guys, so just try and go as far as you can and as far as your body allows you to. and just hold there for a minute or two till you feel a good stretch in your hip flexors. We're now moving on to the adductors. Having tight adductors can be really problematic, especially if you want to squat deep. Some of the issues you can run into is that the knees tend to buckle in at the bottom of a squat, and it can also cause curving of the lower back of the spine. Some people refer to it as a butt wink. So what I'm doing here is I'm down onto the ground, I'm onto my fours, and I've got one leg down onto the knee and the other leg is spread apart as far away from the body as possible, and I'm rocking back and forth. I'm performing about 10 reps here on each side, and every time I'm trying to push and sink down lower and lower as much as I can. You can see me doing the same thing from another angle here. What I recommend is doing 10 reps on one side and then switching onto the other end and repeating the set for a total of at least 3 times. I would say don't progress onto the next stretch till you actually feel your adductors open over here, because this is quite critical for getting down into a deep squat, guys. So that's where we're at. This next one here is using a kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can use any weight, either a dumbbell, you can use a bag. You will need to be elevated onto a step or something that's higher off the ground. And what I want you to do is sit down into a squatted position. You're gonna have the weight in front of you into your arms, and you're gonna keep your chest and your back nice and straight as possible. You're gonna try and drive your elbows into your inner thighs and try and spread them apart. You're gonna sit as low as you can. Okay, and just hang about there for a couple of minutes. Once you're done, slowly come off. You can see me doing it here again in the other angle. Try and focus on keeping the chest up, sinking as low as you can. Just allow the weight to kind of pull your body down. Drive your shoulder blades back and keep pushing those elbows into the thighs. And once again, we are stretching the adductors, but we're also kind of getting used to staying in that low squatted position with proper form, with keeping our chest up, sinking our bum as low as we can, keeping our back flat. This is one of the final stretches here, and this is for the calves and people who lack ankle mobility. Some people, when they're squatting, they tend to come off the heels. They are unable to stay on the heels, and as they go lower into a squat, they tend to come up onto their toes. So just doing this, guys, this is a calf stretch. If your ankle mobility is not too bad, just doing this in and of itself should help you to keep those feet on the ground. You can also use a couple of plates, weighted plates on the ground to elevate your heels if this still doesn't help the mobility, or you can just invest in some weightlifting shoes and that should get you sorted. Okay guys, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please do like, comment, share, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.